Well, I decided to go with the 41 Willys front suspension, the independent front suspension. And I just wanted to show you guys what I do to make it look more realistic and what is so cool about this front end. Okay, get it to focus. So you'll see that the bottom is absolutely dead flat. So when I put it on a surface, I know it's going to be flat. So that's important because it helps to square up the whole front end, make it perfectly even. Now, I don't want to cut away everything and make it, an actual functioning front end. So what I've decided to do is, by using my vise, which I'll show you here, you can square up all your sides and make it look like it's a machined surface, just totally dead flat. Before I even got the molding lines off or anything, I used those as my center line, and I drilled out a pilot hole here, pilot hole here, and I did that on both sides because I'm going to replace this with some aluminum tubing to hold my shock. The other thing that I've done is, with it being squared up, I'm squaring up the A-arms when it's in the vise, which I'll show you guys how I do it. And then, if I can get this stupid thing to focus, so you can see I scribed this line out all the way up to where that rod would be in the suspension there to allow it to function. But again, I'm not making it functioning. If I were, then I would drill this whole thing out and then put in a aluminum tubing or rod of some sort to keep it where it's supposed to be. But instead, I just took my scriber and I scribed this out. I'm going to remove all this material, as you can see on this line over here. I'm going to remove that material all the way up to there. But then I've got a scribe that goes all the way around. Come on, focus, man. Focus, focus, focus. All right. And it goes all the way around, just to give it some realism. So, like on your models and all that stuff, that's why it's so important to scribe and have a good scriber, is you can bring out all the details in whatever model you're working on just by scribing around them lines. And then when everything's all painted up and all that, you can add a wash, a black wash, or a darker colored wash to give it that shadow and separation look. Gives it a little bit more realistic look, add a little realism to things. But so rolling along with it, what I did is I took a piece of scrap plastic so I could put this lower cross member in my vise. Now the top of my vise, this is just a small machinist vise that I've had for years. They sell them, and they're really, really handy to have. But the top, that's a flush flat surface. This is a flat surface if I ever need it like that. And then both sides are nice, flush and flat. What I did is I set it up to where there's just barely an edge here, and I'm just simply going to take my file and get this perfectly flat between there. So when it's done, it'll look like it was made by a machine. And that's always the whole goal. So the square and the flatter the surfaces are, the cleaner the build looks. There's no roundness to it or any of that jazz. And then when I am done with this part of it, I'm going to just keep going until my file is on the metal part, and I'm literally just filing metal. but it's hardened steel, so it's not gonna really take anything away. But then when that's done, I'm going to take advantage of the vise, and I'm going to drop it down to where this edge right here is flush on both sides with the top of this. And I'm going to file this part of the A-arm. And then after that, it's all going to be by hand, pretty much. But I also wanted to show you guys a new tool that I got. And these are little carbon fiber, oops, turn around the other way. Little flat carbon fiber sanding stick, basically, made by Display. And I think it was like $3 or $4 for 3 of them that are different sizes and shapes. Let's see here. Got one that's like that. Got another one like that. And then I just take self-adhesive sandpaper, which the Display sandpaper, again, is really good. It takes a long time to wear this stuff out, and it just cuts real nice, and it sticks really well to anything, as far as the adhesive stuff goes. But these don't flex, so if you're doing something flat, these are a great alternative to a jeweler's file, depending on the grit that you have. And it's become very useful with finishing out some of the 3D parts and stuff like that, which it seems like a lot of them 3D parts are more work than anything. So I don't see, outside of the super detail and all that, how some folks can argue that it's a easy way to detail a car, because it's really not. It takes a lot of work to get them 3D parts smooth and ready for paint, and then paint it up and made to look perfect. So it's just as much work. But anyway, that's my little update on the front end, and I'll show you the rest of it as I get to it. I just wanted to show you guys a quick detailing trick that I've used before on other models. Some of y'all may know this, and some of you may not have ever seen this before, but it's with coil springs. This is the coil spring out of the 41 Willys, coil over shock on the front suspension. Anybody who's ever built this kit knows what I'm talking about, it and how it mounts. But it's all just a solid piece of plastic, and it's honestly not too bad to paint, but we can make it look better. So what I do is I take my nippers, I nip off that little nub right here, get it flushed up, get my center line on it, and then drill it out. And what you have, here, let me get it real quick. So I drill the hole out, as you can see, and I do it with a 1/16 inch bit as a pilot bit going in there. And then I just kind of found a bit that actually worked in size. My alarm went off and it screwed up my phone there. So what I do is I drill it out, well, I'll clamp it and something like that, drill it out. I'm getting it straight up and down and drill it out. And then I go through again with my super scrubber. And I'll scribe out the coils, all the plastic in between the coils. So as you can see, we can get it to focus, it's all hollow on the inside. So I've taken it, stupid phone, and it's hollow, and you can actually see through it. It needs to be cleaned up, and you can go through everything on it. Try to zoom in a little. You can clean it up, and then when you go to mount it, and get it all painted up and stuff, and you'll actually be able to see through it. You can probably run even a piece of, tubing through there just to give it that metal look on the inside. So now it's just sitting there in your car. Got a little bit of detail on your spring. So just a little trick. Done it before, but I'm absolutely going to destroy it. I just want the bracket. So next time you'll see this front end pretty much more together. It's been kind of a pain in the butt to retrofit this to the front end of this, but getting her figured out. Right on, model on, guys.